Hello and welcome to Triumph. My name is Okello, Sharon. We bring you stories of women who have beaten the odds, overcome challenges that would have otherwise put them down. Women are gifted with the power to bring children into this world, but that does not come without challenges. And one of those challenges being taking care of a preterm baby. Now, I have a woman today that has gone through the hurdles and hassles of delivering preterm babies, but has overcome it. And she will be sharing with us her journey of how she managed to bring these children into this world, take care of them, and continuously raise them. Hi, Kyalisiima.
Hello, Sharon.
Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Kindly just let us know who you are. Introduce yourself to us.
I'm Kyalisiima Louise, 35 years old, a mother of three, from two births. One firstborn is 7 years, making 7 years on 29th, and the twins as well that were born preterm, making 5 years, still on 29th April. I work with an organization called Living Goods that deals with community work, basically. We train women, and these women go out in the communities and take look out for households with children under 5, and they treat specifically 3 diseases. My area of expertise is social work.
On our topic today, we are discussing preterm birth,
Yes.
and you have experienced this.
Yes.
So I want to understand your journey.
Right from when I realized that I'm expecting twins, it was a mixture of excitement, sadness, worry. I didn't know what I was going to do. The fact of just taking care of one is already a hassle, and then 2 are on the way coming. But I didn't know what was coming my way. I got labor pains at 7 months, and I was rushed to hospital. However, before I got the labor pains, I was already tired. The weight that I was carrying was already breaking my legs. The pelvic was already in so much pain. So I actually remember I asked my gynecologist and asked him if he could just do an early birth for me, and says, "No, Louise, you don't know what you're going to go through." I said, "No, I really am tired." So he says, "Do you know what it takes to give birth to children that have not reached term?" I'm like, "No, but I'm tired." And when it reached 7 months and I got the pains, I called him. However, I was rushed to hospital. It felt like a relief. Immediately I was sent into the theater because it was, I gave birth through cesarean section. And when I was rushed to theater, when I got the pains, I felt it was a relief. And I'm like, "Oof, finally, they are out."
Labor pains felt like a relief to you, Louise.
Like, I was tired of carrying them. The pain that I was going through carrying them during my pregnancy was not something that I loved. I was very tired.
Okay. So had you planned to have a cesarean?
No, I had not planned to have a cesarean. I thought that I would reach the 9 months, but I think by 6 months I was tired. The pains were intense, but in my mind, it was a relief.
What was in your mind when you found out you had twins?
I was happy because right from the background from our family, they have always wanted twins. However, they never got twins. I remember I told my mom I'm expecting twins, but she says no, they are lying you, because this is a history that they've always wanted twins, and none of them had gotten them, right from my grandmother. So here I am, her grandchild. I am expecting twins. So my mom was like, no, till the day of delivery, when she actually believed it. So when I went into the labor pains, they were intense, but I was in a mode of, finally, they are out. I'll move freely. I'll not be in a lot of pain while moving. I think the challenge that I had was the distance where I was working. The distance was quite far. From home to work, I think it would take me about say 4 to 5 hours to reach my workplace, and the same would be when I'm coming back. So that distance, the movement was such a challenge to me. That is why I was tired. So when we go to the delivery part, the doctors came in, and the first twin came out. She was a girl. She cried. She was below birth weight. She was 1.9 kilograms. Then the second twin, a boy, also came out. However, he did not cry. He didn't make any sound. And that brought tears to my eyes. And
that's scary.
It was scary. It was very scary. I thought I was actually going to leave the theater, probably hospital, with one child.
Yeah.
And the fact that he didn't cry, the nurse tried to hit his toe, and all he did was sneeze. And I just felt, I think I have lost him. So they just showed me it's a boy, and he was rushed to ICU.
How long did you spend in hospital?
I spent 2 months in hospital. And that was because of the second twin being below birth weight. But the girl, since she was 1.9 kilograms, she was close to reaching 2 kilograms. So she was discharged from hospital after 1 week without.
So how did you manage with the care?
At first, I was scared because she was gotten out of the ICU and brought to my hospital bed. And I had it in my mind that I'm going to have to take care of her, the hospital bed, as I have to take care of the second twin who was in ICU on life support and tubes and all that. But a nurse came in and advised me and said if she stays here, she might actually get diseases that are unknown since she's delicate. So they suggested she goes home, and she goes to my mother's home. So that is actually what happened after 1 week.
So you took the girl to your mother's house. So your mother helped you take care of the girl,
the first
while
twin.
You paid attention
To the
second twin.
Yes.
So how was your daily routine with the second one?
The first time you go into ICU, you don't know what to expect. What broke me was seeing him with all those tubes, and I could not carry him. I could not breastfeed him. It was a bit of a challenge. But along the way, I learned how to feed him, because the nurses show you how to feed them when they are in the ICU beds, the incubators. So you have to feed him, to change him. They show you all that. It was a tough time because I was within a hospital for 2 months, and all my life depended on him. Supposed to be fed 2 hourly, every after 2 hours, and you have to pump milk, because remember, you cannot put him on your breast. So you pump milk, get a syringe, and feed him through a tube. That is something that I've never seen all my life. After giving birth to my firstborn, I breastfed him, so now this was really scary. And along the way, you'd find he has gotten an infection, you have to buy this medication to help him live, and in the ICU, every night you hear cries. So that was another worry and another scare to me.
About 226,000 children in Uganda are born preterm, but then about 12,500 actually end up dying. Did you at one point feel like this could be your fate?
Yes, I felt it could be my fate, because I think next to his incubator there was another child that had spent 2 days, but on the third day the child was not there. And now you know when you're feeding the child 2 hourly, you walk in, the child next to the incubator where the second twin was is not there, and then the nurses are like, Oyo, against.
Staying in hospital for 2 months, how did that affect your employment?
I was worried about my work, because we are given 3 months of maternity leave. And here I was, 2 months in hospital, and I didn't know what would happen after the 3 months end, because it took me a while to know how to take care of these children. Because even out of hospital, there is something else that you have to do at home.
What's that?
You have to still feed them on a cup. By the time they discharge you from hospital, they want you to know how to feed them on a cup. They are very small cups, not the usual cup, very small cups. So you have to feed him on a cup. then no visitors, then all windows and doors closed. Just actually to take you back a little bit, when I gave birth, everybody was excited. Louise has given birth to twins. Louise has given birth to twins. But the unfortunate bit is, whoever would come and visit me in hospital was just seeing me, and they were not seeing the babies since they were in the ICU.
So how did you manage with the finances?
It was very tough because remember, per night in ICU is quite expensive.
How much were you paying per night? If you remember approximately.
Per night was about 400,000.
400,000 Ugandan shillings.
Per child.
And you were there for 2 months.
I was there for 2 months. What put down the bill a little bit was the girl was discharged after a week. But within that week, we were double.
So back to employment.
Yes. When I talked about the distance from work to home, I used to work in Mukono and I was living in Entebbe. So every day that journey. So when I gave birth to the preterms, I had to put in a request to move to a nearer workstation. My employers sat down and they discussed it, looking at the situation that I was in. And probably I think some of them know what it means to give birth to preterm.
Bless
very
them.
certain. So they agreed and I was moved to a nearer workstation.
Now, with 2 babies, the cries that we know,
Yes.
the colic, didn't you feel over your head?
There was actually a point where I decided to hide myself.
Hide where? Where do you hide?
I just decided to hide myself in the house. They looked for me, but I was exhausted. I lacked sleep. I would not sleep enough. And actually, by the time I delivered, my firstborn was just making 2 years. So I literally had triplets, almost close to that. So there is a time I really wanted to sleep. I really wanted to take a nap. So I just decided to hide. They looked for me. As they were looking for me, I dressed up and walked out of the house. I went to a friend's place.
Was it like a sort of a pause? You wanted to imagine your life without the babies in it?
Yes, because I was really exhausted.
What was going through your mind when you were walking out of the house and you're leaving these children behind?
The fact that I was tired, I was not even thinking about them because out of hospital, then I'm at home, the cries, I did not think about them. I just wanted to be me. And I kept asking God, like, why did you have to put me through this? I thought twins are supposed to be something exciting. Everybody's happy for you. You're happy as a woman who has given birth to twins and no longer you're happy. But it was too exhausting for me.
How did you manage with the finances? Where was it coming from?
The good part is where I work, we have insurance. However, that insurance was only able to cater for the first twin. But for the second twin, we had to look for finances. I was in hospital and my husband was out working, looking for the finances. And I remember whatever he would get, he would bring and pay immediately to try and cover it up. We went ahead to go to family, to friends for financial support because the bill was really high and there is no way you are discharged before you clear off the bill. So we went out to family and friends to try and help us cover up the bill, as well as him trying to work more hours, try to work himself. Yes.
So if you were faced with a pregnancy again, how would you prepare?
I believe I would actually save to have money aside to help me go through that situation. And I would look at trying to do it on a weekly basis, basing on how far I've moved or basing on when I got to know I'm pregnant. So I'd start saving up on a weekly basis and see how far I can go to help me at least as a starter. And like where I went in and the finances, the bill was high, this was unexpected. So saving would help.
Did you ever use traditional means that are not scientific?
No, I never used any traditional means because even in hospital they tell you straight away, these are vulnerable children, they are delicate. So if you try to use anything out of the medication or whatever they have advised in hospital, it is up to you. You are risking the life of the baby.
Okay.
Yes.
So where is the father of the children in all this, your husband?
My husband was right in the picture because he would come in every day to check on us. And most times in the ICU, they only allow two people, the father and the mother, to check on the children. So he would come every day, go to the ICU, check on the babies. He would also come check on me. Then over the weekends, the fact that he had the 2-year-old at home, because he was the one taking care of the 2-year-old at home, he would come over the weekend. We sit together, talk, try to help me get my mind off the hospital bit, because it's literally just hospital. I was about 65 kilograms, but I lost and went to 40 kilograms. And whenever he would see me, he would tell me, "Oh, you look good." I'm like, "No, and I don't look good. I am struggling, like I'm shrinking because of all this. I have to save a life." Then when we were discharged from hospital, he would actually, time for feeding in the night, the cries, he would take the second twin, the girl, and since she was on a bottle, I didn't really breastfeed her. So he would feed her on a bottle while I breastfeed the second twin every night. That was his role. He would sleep with the second twin, feed her whenever her time comes, then I would deal with the second twin.
Wow, that was a strong supporter.
Yes, it
support
was.
system.
Yes.
So how has this experience shaped you?
It has made me believe that in whatever situation, you can actually come out of it. Because in the hospital, I didn't really think I would get back to where I was. People would come and see me, they're like, "Do you see how she looks like?" I remember a friend came and jokingly said, nalongo wanawafuna wa apartment, meaning like I've really stayed there. Like ofunye obutuze wano. But it came out as a joke just to help me think through or to laugh. I'm a very jolly person, but that time I was not. I felt, I don't think God really loves me. I felt abandoned. People would come and check on me. My mom, since she was with the second twin, my auntie would come, my sister would come and bring me videos to see how the second twin is doing. The fact that I was not seeing her for all those 2 months. Then for my firstborn, I remember they did a video call. So I tried to talk to him. But I think as a child, he felt I had abandoned him. After getting off the video, he refused to talk to me. After getting off the video call, I remember I cried. And I felt, I think I was not fair to him to conceive at that time, as early as that. When I came back from hospital and I went through all this and I went back to work and the kids are growing, it showed me at the end of it all, whatever situation someone goes through, you eventually get up.
So in this entire situation, what kept you strong?
I had a very supportive family, and in most times, some people abandon me, but I had a very supportive family. My husband was there for me. My mother was right there. The fact of taking up a child, a grandchild, and taking care of the child, then my children were also alive. Despite my firstborn not talking to me, he was also home, being taken care of by my family. Literally did not abandon me. That is one thing that kept me going. I have a friend who'd always come and encourage me and talk to me. And I felt, yes, at least I am not alone. I have some people around me and they totally understand what I'm going through, and they're not pushing me so hard. they're letting me take one day at a time. Yes.
What would you tell somebody out there who would be going through the same situation as you?
We feel when you go through a situation, it's the end of the world, but it's not. And the fact that someone can still carry on their children, they're still alive, then you know it was not a mistake. This happened for a purpose. So at the end of it all, there is always hope, and you can always go through it and be victorious.
So how is your life after this experience now?
I have always wanted to look out for mothers who go through the same situation like I do, mothers who give birth to preterm babies. And I felt I need to start up something that will help them. They need psychological help. Then even the children themselves, they will need that support. I was lucky enough that we were able to stay in hospital for all that long, and I learned from the nurses around. So what I wanted to do is to start up something that is going to help mothers who give birth to prematures, help them psychologically, teach them how to take care of these prematures because they're very delicate. And according to the number of deaths of premature babies, this would help reduce on the number of preterm babies.
How are you moving towards that goal?
I move in communities, and you meet so many women out there, mothers. Actually, the last that I met was a mother who had given birth to preterm babies as well. Unfortunate bit is she had lost one, but she still had this other one, and the child was sick. So I went out of my way to help her because she was crying. She didn't know what to do, and I was encouraging her with my story because I was in the same situation like she was. The way she was breaking down, that the child is 2 months right now. She was crying, but I was encouraging her because the most painful bit is she was discharged from hospital after 1 week. And she totally didn't know what to do. So she's a mother that I've taken on and I'm helping at the moment right now.
There you had it from Kyalisiima Louise. Giving birth to a preterm baby is heartbreaking, but the good news is that you can still manage to take care of that child, and eventually you will see a full-grown, blossoming child. The value of family support from friends, from family, from your husband. It helps you emotionally, it supports you mentally, it supports you physically. But even when there is a challenge, you don't even see much of it because you believe that the people around you understand your situation. Thank you very much for joining us today on Triumph. With these stories, we will change the world.